bodyweight squat develops and warms up the knee dominant movement pattern, and you'll only need a dowel to learn this pattern and a couple of thin plates if you need to regress this exercise. Starting by placing your feet somewhere between hip width apart or as wide as the inside of your feet level with the outside of your shoulders. The feet should be somewhere between either straight ahead or with the toes flaring out at around the 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock position. It all depends on your hip anatomy and mobility, and you'll need to find out what gives you the best movement. Most people squat with some toe out. Looking forwards, raise your arms in front to help with balance, keeping your torso as upright as possible with a long spine. That is your lower back naturally curved while your ribs stay open at the chest. Simultaneously, send your knees forwards over your toes and your hips back as you concertina your legs, sitting down towards the floor while keeping your weight balanced over the middle of your foot. Sink as low as you can without rounding your back. Then feel like you spread the floor apart beneath your feet as you push the floor away to return to standing, feeling an equal pressure on both the heel and the ball of the foot in contact with the floor. Actively pull yourself down towards the floor on the descent, as if gravity is reversed. That way, you'll stay tight and strong without any slack in your form. Common mistakes are allowing the knees to cave in, which places undue stress on the knees. It's worth noting this valgus caving in is harder to spot if you have a wider stance with your feet flared out. Practicing a squat while driving the knees out against a mini band placed just below the kneecaps can help you correct this mistake. Rounding your back is another mistake. Your lower back should remain neutral throughout the exercise without either rounding under or arching back. Imagine your pelvis is a bowl of water that doesn't spill from either the front or back. The upper back should be extended with the ribs open at the chest. But be careful not to overarch your lower back in this upright position while you're doing this, spilling water out the front of your pelvis. To help keep this upper back extension of the ribs open, imagine showing your t-shirt logo on the front as you descend. You can practice the correct spinal alignment by placing a dowel between your shoulder blades and onto your tailbone as you squat, keeping those points in contact along with the back of your head. Balancing without your hands in front is tricky, but if you lose contact with the dowel at the bottom, you're rounding your lower back. If you lose contact between your shoulder blades while your head is in contact, you're not keeping your neck straight. Practice going as deep as you can, keeping all 3 points in contact with the dowel. Other mistakes to watch out for are the heels coming up off the floor or bowing too far forward, sending your hips too far back. These could indicate you don't have enough ankle mobility. To make the exercise easier, place a pair of plates on the floor at your squat stance width and stand with your heels elevated on those plates. This artificially increases your ankle range of motion and makes it easier to keep your form over a greater depth. Use thicker plates to raise your heel higher if you still struggle. And bear in mind, squatting in barefoot shoes is also harder than using shoes with a heel lift. Remember to only squat to a depth that you can maintain good form.